Hey everyone, it's Carly and welcome back to my booktube channel. Today's video is going to be all the books that I read in 2019, so I hope you guys enjoy and give this video a big like and subscribe down below for more content coming in 2019. Today is New Year's Eve, which is kind of crazy to me that this year is almost halfway over, which I'm really glad for because this year truly sucked for me, I'm not gonna lie. And also, as you can tell, we have a little bit of a different background. I finally have a bookshelf, so yay! I'm so excited. This is a 5-shelf bookshelf that I got from Walmart for like 30 bucks. Super cheap, super easy to build, and I'm pretty sure it's a pretty like popular bookshelf. I've seen a few on booktube. It works really well. It fits all my books, and because I have a new shelf, I will have a book unhaul coming soon, probably for the start of the new year, because I have so many books that I have on this shelf that I know I can get rid of and that I have no intentions of reading. So I will have that video definitely coming soon, as well as my January TBR. I'm gonna stop rambling and tell you guys all the books that I read for 2018. So 2018 was not a good reading year for me. Let me just start by that. My goal was to read 10 books. I'm looking at my book on my Goodreads right now. My goal was to read 10 books. I read 6. So I didn't do too good. Let me just say that. So this is the pile of books right here. The very teeny tiny books that I have read this year. They are in order, and I'm very disappointed. Well, I'm actually not, but then I kind of am. And I'll get into that in a second. So for the first book that I read this year, it was After, the first book by Anna Todd in the series After. There's like 5 books I've read. This one was the first one I read. As you can tell, I love this book, and in my past videos, you definitely know I loved this book so much. I would talk nonstop about this book, how much I love Tessa and Hardin, just all that stuff, and now there's a movie coming out probably 2019 of the After series, and I have yet to finish the series, so I kind of refuse to watch the movie. And also, I'm not really into the After series anymore. I don't know what made me realize that I'm not truly into it anymore. I just kind of stopped reading. I'm struggling to finish the 3rd book. I've been reading it for about a few months now. So basically, what I said about this book, let me see. My rating was 5 stars. Not surprising because I was in love with this book at the time. My review, which really wasn't a review at much, it says, I somehow know it was the calm before the storm, but right now Hardin is my anchor and I just pray that he doesn't pull me under. To say the least, my heart and chest ache. Throw up, gross, no. Basically, I love this book. It definitely was my 5 out of 5 star read for 2018, which is kind of surprising because I don't think I've ever rated any other book this year with a 5 out of 5 star read, even though I've only read 6, but I'm pretty sure this is the only book that I truly love to pieces. And I have a bunch of annotated pages, and it's just like I don't really have like a method on how I annotate, but I think I'm gonna try and start making a method out of it for 2008 or 2019. I basically just put these little page thingies in my favorite places, and as you can tell, I had a lot of them. So this is the After series, and if you guys don't know what it's about, it's basically like a One Direction fan fiction about Harry Styles, which I didn't like that purpose to it. I didn't like knowing it was about Harry Styles because I was never a One Directioner fan, but overall I did like this book. Would I read it again? Definitely not. For one, it's like 500 pages. I'm surprised I even read this. I got through this pretty fast too. So would I read this again? No. Am I gonna take it off my shelf? Probably not, just because this series does mean a lot to me and I have yet to finish it, and I want to see if I'll actually even finish it for that matter. So moving on. The second book that I read this year is also another series book. This is the After the Game by Abby Glines, and I have talked about this book in a bunch of my wrap-ups and stuff like that. What am I reading? My rating for this book was 4 out of 5 stars, which I definitely agree to. Is this the first book? I don't even know. No, this is the 3rd book in the Field Party series. I've read the other 2, I guess, last year, or I don't even know. I probably read it this year, but I probably didn't mark it down. I'm just going off my Goodreads on what I read this year because I'm pretty sure I didn't read that much. I know 2017 I definitely read this book, the first 2, and I did like it. This one definitely. After this, I'm DNFing this series. I'm not finishing the series. It's very boring, it lacks, and it's just not good enough for me to continue because I know there's like a 4th book coming out, and I'd love to read that because I love this series. Or I loved this series when I first started reading it, but now I'm at the point where I'm just like, there's so many other books that I could be reading instead of just like, you know, forcing myself to finish just because it's a series. So I'm not doing that. This was a 4 out of 5 star read. I definitely remember myself reading this, and I definitely did not like it that much. There was a few things that I could relate to in it, and that was basically why. My review was a pretty long one. It took me 4 days to read this. I'm not gonna sit here and read through my review because it's a really long review, and it kind of touches on little like my life situation, so it kind of like touches on some personal topics. So if you guys want to go see that and read my review for this, my Goodreads is always down below. And yeah, my third book that I read this year was The Sweet Spot by Stephanie Avenich. Don't even know, I'm bad at names, I butcher them all the time. This is my third book that I read this year, and I gotta say I do love this book. This is definitely, I love this book. I don't know, I don't really think it's a really popular book that I've seen on good booktube, but I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars. Oh, okay. I guess I didn't like it as much as I thought I did. But it's basically about a girl that's a restaurant owner and a baseball player. They kind of meet, fall in love, all that kind of stuff. It's just a really cute book. I don't know, it's like a really cute contemporary romance book. I love contemporary romance books. That's obviously why I loved it. For my review, I said I truly struggled to get into this book at parts. Oh yes, it's in third person. I forgot about that. I hate that it's in third person. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not, but if that saves your time from reading it, then don't read it if you hate third person, because I hate third person, so that's why I didn't really like it as much. But like the true like plot twist, like the plot line, whatever it's called, the plot, whatever, I liked that basically. But there was a few things in there that I didn't like that obviously affected my rating. But overall, I probably will end up getting rid of this on my shelf at some point. I definitely won't be rereading this anytime soon because I still remember it pretty well, which is really surprising because I read this in May. Hi, so future Carly popping in here just to announce that I did read 6 books. I was just going through my video and editing it and realized I only talked about 5 books. So my 6th book that I read after The Sweet Spot, which was the 4th book to my 3rd last book, I don't even know. Yeah. It was Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I had to read it for school. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. Freaking hated this book. I basically listened to it like an audio. I found like an audio version of it on YouTube, and that was the only way I was actually going to be able to get through it. And I just freaking hated this book. Like, boring. Hated it. Not my cup of tea. Never in my life would read it again. It's a classic also, so the first classic that I read, so yay, go me for that. But like, I really hated this book so much, and I will never read it again. So yeah, I just wanted to pop in and say that was my my 3rd book that I read this year and hated it. And yeah, thank you for, watching this part. Okay, bye. The next book that I have, my 4th book that I read this year, is After We Collided by Anna Todd. Yes, this is the 4th book, or the 4th book, I wish. This is the 2nd book. 3rd book? No, 2nd book. Let me see. This is the 2nd book in the After series, and this took me so freaking long to get through. I can't even tell you. This was about 700, 600 pages long. I started reading it, let's see. I started reading this in January of this year, and it took me to August 1st. This is my least favorite book, I think. I rated it 4 out of 5 stars, but honestly, I know myself personally, and I know, actually no, I think I'm thinking of the 3rd book that I'm reading right now that I have not picked up in like months, but they took me forever to read just because it's the same thing over and over again. After you finish the 1st book, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I need some more. And then you read the 2nd book, and you're like, oh, yeah, okay, and it's good. And then it's like, oh, it's the same thing over and over again. And then it's like, I'm so bored of this, and I need something new. And it's just, yeah, that's basically where I'm at with this series right now. It's just very repetitive. I'm very bored of it. It's like domestic violence. I might DNF the series. I have the entire series. I really don't want to DNF it just because I love this series at a time and place in my life, so I don't really know what I'm going to do. We'll see if I pick up the 3rd book again because I still have yet to finish the 3rd book. I didn't even realize I finished the 2nd book. I completely forgot about it. My review for this one says, it took me a good few months to finish. I was a bit tired of the repetitive fighting. It took place between Harda and Tessin. Towards the end, it got a little bit better. Hope the 3rd book will be a lot more of a switch up. Yeah, no, it wasn't much of a switch up. It was literally the exact same thing. After I read the 1st book, I was like, oh, I need some more of this. I read the 2nd book. I was like, okay, that kind of filled my gapping of needing to read it. And it's just so slow paced at some points, and it's just like the same freaking thing, and it's just, I can't. I just feel like she shouldn't have continued on the series after the 1st book, to be honest. After they were reading the 2nd book, she could have just left at the 2nd book and called it a day, honestly. And then my last book for the month, or the year of 2018 that I read, it is Haunted Northern New York by Sherry Ravi. I don't know if that's even correct, I don't know. So this basically, I have her 2 other books. I don't know if it's not really considered a series. It's kind of just like more books that she's adding on. I loved this book so much. I'm pretty sure I gave it a 5 out of 5 star rating. Oh, 4 out of 5, whatever. Same, basically the same thing. I loved this book. It was very spooky when I read it. I don't think it was even in the time of the month when it was October. I read this in August, so it wasn't even the time for October to come around and, you know, be spooky by that. But this didn't take me long to read. It's a very light book. It's about 100 some pages long. It's basically about like haunted places in northern New York, basically. And it has like pictures in it that makes it so much more realistic and real, and I love that aspect to her book. And I have her other 2 books and they don't have pictures involved, so they must be like an older version of her book before she started adding pictures to it. I don't know, but these are basically just chilling stories that people have faced and experienced with paranormal phenomenon. And I love paranormal stuff, anything. Hate it if it happens to me, which I've never actually experienced it, so fingers crossed that I never do. But like, I don't know, I love this book. It really had me scared. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it was really making me anxious. I would not be able to sleep too well at night, and I really loved it. So that's all I gotta say. It was a good ending off to 2018. So my camera's gonna die now, so yay. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, give it a big like and subscribe down below to join the family. I love you all so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.